Welcome to the experience live with Russ and Scott in this new year, 2025. We're excited. Here we go.
Hey, the experience live with Russ and Scott is brought to us every week by great sponsors like the Gillette Home Team. And Laura and her team have been sponsors of the experience for a long time, since the beginning. And we're so grateful to have them as a part of the experience. You can learn more at teamgillette.com and the Independent Planner and Journal at independent-planner.com. This is a notebook style planner and journal all in one. It is designed for entrepreneurs. If you go to the website, scroll down to the bottom, there is an AI powered tool to help you create your 3-year plan, goals, and ideal week. Independent-planner.com. And our great friend Jim Coleman at the State Farm Insurance, Jim Coleman Insurance Agency. He is a wonderful man, a family man. Jim and Amy have been involved in the community for many years, and I have been a client, and I enjoy him. He is a great person. Make sure to go to Jim Coleman for all of your insurance needs. And with that, Russ, let's get the show on the road.
Woohoo! Here we go. Yes, and I'm so thankful. You can actually just go to jimcoleman.com for more information on Jim. He's such a blessing. All of our sponsors, Scott, we are blessed here going into 2025 with just amazing people. So, yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. 2025. Hard to believe that we are in this year because, we were talking about Y2K and all the preparations, and elevators weren't going to work, and food wasn't going to be delivered, and ATMs were going to just like fling all your money out into the street. Well, I don't know. And here it is, 2025. Nobody remembers Y2K.
No, that is so true. I remember that night very vividly, Scott. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but in a nutshell, I decided that year to make a little extra Christmas money by delivering newspapers, which I will never do again in my entire life. And my kids actually came out with me that night, delivering in the middle of the night, sleeping in the back of the car. They thought they wanted to help, but they were sleeping the whole way through. I ended up having to deliver 3 times the number of papers because some people wanted 4, 5, and 6 papers because of what it was going into the 2000s. It was a big deal. So yes, I do not recommend that for anybody if you're trying to raise money, because in the long run, by car repairs and gas and all that, I don't think I made any money.
Yeah, well, there we go. All right. So there's always great advice and great inspiration here on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. We are Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time.
Woohoo.
And rebroadcasting whenever it's convenient for you, because LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, it's always there. And make sure you go to local.theexperience.video. That's a website that has a consolidation of all of our programs. So it's got the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's got the Experience Local that we do on Monday and broadcasts on 2 radio stations in Oregon. We have got Marketing with Russ twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Pacific time, as well as Russ's 4 p.m. show on Thursday, which is Russ Reels, a panel discussion, always lively, always enlightening, always worth tuning into. And then on Saturday morning at 8:30 here in Waco on KBBW, you can listen to The Waco Experience, an American story, or tune in on the podcast app of your choice every Monday at 9 a.m. The most recent episode releases, and I think we've got 14 now.
Wow.
Those episodes out. So just getting rolling.
Yeah, you're doing great, Scott. I appreciate all that you're doing as you've jumped into this whole Waco new location for you. But I just want to remind everybody, not only the local.theexperience.video, which has all of that, but if you just want to go straight to our YouTube page and subscribe today, which we'd love for you to do either way, you can go straight to the experience.video. We'll take you directly to our YouTube page. Or, like I said, more information about everything at local.theexperience.video. Also wanted to remind everybody, Scott, not only does it sit on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, like you said, forever, and you can watch anytime you want. If you miss it live, it also converts to audio podcasts. You can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever your favorite podcast platform is. And we appreciate you sharing that out with people.
Mhm.
One last thing that I want to tell you is we are not only sponsor supported, but listener supported. And so I want to let everybody know that if you want to continue Scott and I getting this positive message out there and blessing so many people around the world, and we have been so blessed already with so many listener supporters, just right here, you can click on the QR code, or in the comments or the show notes, there'll be a link to click on to go directly to give any amount you want to give to help promote goodness and the experience of life with amazing people. And we have so many amazing guests, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Like our guest today, Steve,
Yeah.
is the master connector, and people are going to learn more about him in just a moment. Go to local.theexperience.video, and there is a live click. There's a little button right there that you can tap and go right to that support page. We will shout you out because we love all of you, and thank you deeply.
Yes, we appreciate you so much. So with that, I think we're going to get things rolling here and get Steve in the room. What do you think?
Let's do it.
The master connector. Here he is, Mr. Steve Spiro. Woohoo!
What's going on, guys?
Living in the spotlight, aren't you there?
Wow. Unbelievable. We made it, right? And I do remember Y2K, and wow. Yeah. Big difference today.
What did you do? What was your preparation, Steve, for Y2K?
I think I had all our devices unplugged. I don't know. Honestly, I can't remember yesterday. So
a friend of mine had barrels of rice and water, in his garage. So I said,
we might have loaded up the refrigerator. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think there was a lot of unfounded fears, but you know what? It's interesting to think back and think how we have survived another 25 years. And Steve, in those 25 years, you have become the master connector. So, when I grow up, I want to be Steve Spiro. So tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, you want to totally watch what you speak, because I don't know if you wanted to be the early stages Steve Spiro, because early on, shy and introverted, picked on, bullied, learning disabled, dyslexic, certainly on the outside had a lot of success. I had an advertising company out of college in New York City. I have a couple black belts. I earned them, started training in '83. So on the outside, yes, looked successful, but on the inside, very insecure, in a dark place. Eventually met a mentor who got me out of my comfort zone, challenged me to meet 3 strangers every day, which started to grow a network. And in New York, which I'm originally from, and in Stamford, Connecticut now, you probably think, oh man, talk to strangers. Yeah, you're right. You're probably going to get shot, kidnapped, or killed. But I did it. Stretched me. I started amassing a massive network today, about 30,000 LinkedIn connections, growing, and about 18 to 20,000 in my phone contacts, and just enjoy speaking. That's my big focus, is to be traveling across the world, speak and inspire and be a beacon of light. And so speaking on actual, not just virtual stages, but really real stages, we could touch the people, if you will, and being an inspiration. Of course, I have my Master Connector show, which I know you guys know about and been on, but it's just the real goal in 2025 is to get on as many stages as possible across the world and really touch people.
Let's talk about becoming a speaker, because there are a lot of people that are good speakers, but getting actual, I will say, paying gigs. It's one thing to come and talk to the local Rotary Club. It's great. Happy to do those things too. But let's talk about actually transforming this into paid speaking gigs.
I mean, Well, listen, there's no real secret except that you have to do the basics, right? Which is number one, you got to speak about it. You got to say, when people ask you to speak, so sure, what's the budget, right? You got to know and expect that you're going to get paid. You've got to do all the prep work. I do have speaker's agent. I do have, I'm on speaker bureaus. I have a speaker, one page, one sheet. You just can't say I'm a speaker and I'm looking to get paid and not have the background. I've got a speaker website, right? So you got to do the grunt work. But yeah, I mean, and then there's some times where you can be not paid to speak. And as you're building up a portfolio, I have a very well professionally done speaker scissor reel. So there's some legwork involved, but ultimately, yeah, it's just getting out there and being persistent. And I'm speaking about it all the time, right? Unless you speak about it, you're not, people don't know that you're a speaker, right?
Right.
So it's something you got to really be conscious about.
Well, I think you said it. You got to be persistent. You got to go after it. That's what I have found. You just got to reach out and talk to people, and you got to let them know. People come to you, Steve, and they'll probably say, and sometimes I get this too. Hey, just appreciate what you're all about. I love your message. And I said, great. Let's do an actual gig with your employees. Let me come in and let's talk about this. And I tell you, most people are wide open to that. And usually, it's such a blessing. And just a short time back, I was blessed to come to New York and speak, and we just missed each other. We'll have to catch each other next time. But it was such a blessing to be there and to be able to do that. And so I'm with you, reaching out unfortunately, with my situation, I've got to have to take it a little slower because I'm not quite in the position where I can do too much traveling and those things. But I love it. I love getting up in front of people. And I got to tell you, Steve, I think when it truly comes from your heart, people see that. And I was blessed this last weekend to be able to speak at one of our campuses for our church. I enjoyed that. And that was obviously not a paid gig. I love that. It was just because, God is the reason that I'm here. I'm thankful
Amen.
for the blessings of life, and just want to shout it from the rooftops. And it was really great. And I found really speaking at church and going on and speaking for a business are not a lot different.
Right.
God's pretty much in everything I talk about, so it didn't make a big change. But yeah, this is what I love about you and what I want you to speak to. So we're both about connecting. We're both about getting out there after people. What was your switch, your trigger back when you realized this is what I really need to do? It's not that you weren't connecting with people at all, but how you had to really step it up and how that would expand and improve your whole outlook in business and life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it had to do with some transformations that had to happen for me. But the real stepping point was it was right around the New Year's, right around this time, right before COVID hit. And I actually made a decision and I had heard my mentor had given me some audios to listen to. And it basically said, you should put a life's mission statement together, something that steers you, something that is going to take you into the next step of eternity, if you know what I mean. And what's something you can keep, because, cars and houses and money, and that's great, but that's temporal, right? But what's going to keep you going till you go till they put you 6 feet under, and then you know what happens after that. So yeah, and I realized I need to be I did some scripture and I some prayer, and I said, you know what, I need to be a beacon of light. I need to travel the world and inspire people, and that's really what my mission is going to be, and help really touch people's lives. Because what I've learned is true success is not about how much money, how much things you can acquire, but how many people are better because you are here. And to me, that's the big deal.
I have right behind me the poster from Wizard of Oz, and I love the departing lines when the wizard is getting ready to take Dorothy back, or going to take him in the balloon. She doesn't. It doesn't go that way, but he's saying goodbye to everybody, and he gets to the Tin Man, and he says, "Remember my sentimental friend." It's not a heart is measured by not how much you love, but how much you are loved by others. And it really comes into that. Um, how are you preparing people to be able to love, to show affection?
Yeah. I think I'll answer it like this. One of the 4 pillars in my book, which are the same 4 pillars I speak to, which is the same 4 pillars of my show, and that is being others focused, being a go-giver, serving and helping other people. And I think, to me, by doing that, number 1, you're touching lives. Number 2, you're showing people what they should do, right? St. Francis of Assisi, I think, is one said it, right? I preach the gospel everywhere I go, and when necessary, I use words, right? It's not saying these things, but doing these things. And that's what will inspire people. So showing them that you care by serving and being others focused, to me, that's been the major transformation, and showing that through love. And it's hard to hate somebody who's loving you. Try it. Like if somebody's about to kill you, show that you really care and love them. They're going to probably have a hard time unless they're a real psycho. But yeah.
Well, it's interesting how you say that, because I'm thinking that some of the biggest things that show people you care and love them are, number 1, telling them how amazingly grateful you are for them in your lives and all these things. And then shutting up and listening to them. What is going on in their lives? What's really important to them? And I think when we show kindness and we really listen to others, it makes such a huge, huge difference. I love the quote by John Maxwell: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yep.
So we can spout stuff all day long and make
Yeah.
ourselves look good, but people don't care if they think you don't care.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fact that what you said about listening and really caring about people and telling them that you appreciate them, you're grateful for them. One of the things I had a very low self-esteem for a very long time. And my mentor said, go out and serve people. And I didn't understand it. Like I don't feel good about myself. And here I am going to serve people. But what happened is, as I served people and really loved on them, I started to get incredible feedback and appreciation from them, which started to grow me and my self-esteem. Because what my mentor said to me years ago, and he still says it, is true self-esteem, or what you really feel about yourself, is not what I think you think of me, but it's what I think you think of me, right? And you only get that when you hear positive feedback. And so by serving and loving on people, and you start to get great feedback, it really is a major, major boost to make you feel good.
So I want to talk about some of the events that you have been speaking at, and then also what's coming up in 25 for you. Tell us about your speaking gigs.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been a lot of virtual summits, a lot of podcast appearances. My push this year is to really get out there on stages, right? I took this speaking profession, if you will, seriously right in the thick of COVID, when stages were shut down because of the lockdown, right? So a lot of the opportunities I've gotten have been on stage, on virtual stages. But I've had, opportunities to been hired by companies to do virtual lunch and learns, which has been really cool, right? To be able to, do that before a group of people. I mean, the big thing, and I want to just share this. I know you didn't ask me, but I'm gonna throw it in anyway. A
We're
big
happy.
area that I have really had a lot of traction with this year, and I think it's going to be even hotter this past year, and then going to be really hot in 2025, is breaking barriers in this complex digital era to create real human connection. This is a very connected world we're in, but it's also extremely disconnected. The screen has created a barrier. And how do you break those barriers, right? And I talk about how to do that by being authentic and so forth. So a big part of that, I think, getting out and really seeing the people. And what I love about being on stages, in physical stages, is the before and after experience, especially the after experience. When you come off a stage and people are just, they kind of find you, and I'm not going to be the one that just, I'm gone. I get off stage, I'm gone. But I like mingling. I like speaking to people, and not because I want to hear positive, but I really want to, want to know people. And so that's the big thing for this year. And so I'm excited about what we're going to be able to do together this year in 2025.
Well, Steve, you're amazing. I mean, I love your message, your positive message. You are always, adding so much value to my life and to so many people. And, as you push forward and you continue to do that, obviously people see that, and that's what draws them to you. And I love what you said about spending time after and really talking to people. People just fire me up. I love speaking because I just get energized, right? And honestly, in my life, this is just me, but people ask me, man, do you get nervous when you speak? I don't, because first of all, I'm speaking about what I'm passionate about, number one. I suppose if I had to speak on astrophysics, I'd be scared to death.
I'd be scared if we had to apply that and send people to the moon, or
I know it would be really bad. And I think everybody should be scared about that. But, I'm so passionate about things that it just comes flowing out. But I love to hang out. Like I was speaking at an event this morning, and I love to hang out and just talk to everybody. It helps you connect deeper. And yes, through the screen, you can do that amazingly, but there's something special about being in the same room, something special about being right in front of people and being a blessing to them, but then them in turn being a blessing to you. And I think that's what drives you, right? Yeah.
Go ahead, no doubt. No, it looked like you were going to say something, Scott.
I was just mimicking what Russ was saying there. It's just when you're in front of an audience, and this is what you were talking about, is you can get those visual clues as you're delivering the message.
And the other thing, I was talking to my mentor about this a little bit, when you're on Zoom or you're giving a virtual, it's so easy for people to just be multitasking or distracted, or to just but like if you're in a room where, number one, you're in between somebody, right? Or depending on how big the room is, right? It's hard to get distracted. You're there, right? There's only one thing going on. Now you could be on your phone, but you're there. And so it's just, people get it better while you're in person. And they also, you also can feel them. You can feel them way better.
So you mentioned about it being a connected world. I worked on a project for a while, and the baseline statement that I had for that was, in a connected world filled with those longing for connection. So we have all the opportunities, but not necessarily taking advantage of it. And one of the ways to be connected is through mentorship. And we are big supporters of mentorship, of masterminds, and of coaching. So let's talk about your journey with your mentor, because obviously it's a big impact in your life. And I know that people out there that don't have a mentor, that don't have advisors, they're gonna find it much more difficult.
Yeah, it's been a wild journey. I mean, first of all, I want to clarify, I'm not a coach. I don't have any desire to be a coach, and the mentoring relationship is not for sale for me. I had to fight tooth and nail to get my mentor to be a mentor to me. It was based off of a collaboration relationship, business collaboration relationship. And I just decided I'm going to just do whatever it takes. If that means work with him for free and do just if I have to get coffee for him, I don't care. I want to be a blessing. So the way I've been able to do that with a few folks is I put him through the ringer like he put me through it. And we work together on something. Because to me, mentorship is tough. It's, I hear a lot of people, hey, Grant Cardone is my mentor. Awesome. How many times have you met with him, and has he been to your home, and how well do you know each other? And like, oh no, I just listened to him on podcasts. Interesting. My mentor has been he was in my home just the other day. I've been to his home hundreds of times. He's been to my home probably close to 100 times, right? So we have a real relationship. He's giving me mentorship, not just advice, based on exactly who I am, and he knows who I am. Whereas the other stuff is generic. and I call it mentorship from afar. So to me, it's extremely valuable. I don't know how you can live life without mentorship. It's kind of like a GPS for your life is what it is. And my mentorship relationship, I know there's a big buzz in the corporate arena, having a mentors at work, and that's great. There's real value to that. But I've talked to him about my relationship, my marriage. I've talked to him about, my finances. If you're in the corporate world and you speak to somebody at work who is your mentor about those things, you might find yourself in the HR room, in the HR office, right? So there's all sorts of stuff, values. Now, I'm not saying there aren't life coaches that have similar things they can do, but this has been an incredible relationship and a friendship, and it's mutual. It's win-win. And I think it's been probably the most valuable. As I said, he was the one who challenged me to meet 3 strangers. I'll say one last thing, and I don't want to overdo this, and he spoke about the other day again, and I've spoken about this a lot because I learned it from him, where he calls it, and he didn't make it up. It's called the Johari window panes. 4 window panes, right? One is what you know about me, and I know about me. I'm bold as heck, right, Russ? Number 2 is, yeah, exactly. Number 2 is so it's the obvious stuff, right? Number 2 is what I know about me, but you don't. What are those things, right? Secrets, right? Number 3 is another window pane is what you know about me, but I don't. My blind spots, right? And then the 4th is what I don't know about me and you don't know about me, which is the great unknown. It's the potential. It's what's the seed of greatness within you. And a mentorship relationship, a true mentoring relationship helps you with those last 2 window panes, the blind spots, and most importantly, the potential, and helping you find and reach that true potential.
Yeah, that is so amazing, Steve. And I agree 100% because you need people, just like we're talking about, that speak into your life and show you those blind spots and help direct you into those areas where there is opportunity and possibilities. 100%. I know a good friend and a mentor of mine. Let's see, what was his name again? Oh, it's D. Scott Smith, who does that for me all the time, who is always overloading my brain. Number 1, I always have to tell him, whoa, too much. Number 2, he's always opening up doors that I didn't even consider, really. And he's always prodding me. And he doesn't just, if I bring up an idea, if he doesn't like it, he says, no, what about this? I like, this, let's look this way different. You need people that aren't just like a yes man and just like, oh, you're so awesome. You have those people, and praise God for those people that just want to encourage you. Great. You're awesome. You're great. All that is awesome. But you need people who really speak the truth also. And so, all right, I've got to be the responsible host. It's time to wrap things up, but I want you to give everybody your gold nugget of today's conversation, Steve. It's been amazing. You've had a bunch of them, but I want you to wrap it up in one little nice bow. And then how do people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I think that the world would be great if we just stop being so self-focused and be others focused, and I know that's hard for some folks. So for me, it was hard because when you're wounded and you're in self-protection mode, you just want to protect. But if you could shift gears and get others focused, you'll be amazed. It'll break down barriers. It'll help you connect with people. That didn't happen with us today, but I was being interviewed on a podcast recently, and the guy Rob, I shared about my insecurities, and like I always do, be vulnerable, right? And he started to tell a story, and he got teary-eyed and emotional. And I was like, Rob, did that ever happen to you on air on your podcast before? He's like, no, it hasn't. I said, well, I guess I did my job, because by being others focused and being vulnerable and having, the ability to just share from your heart, people really, really see your heart, and they open up themselves, and you really start to create real human connection. So my suggestion is go and be others focused. Take your eyes off yourself, put it on other people. You'll be amazed what can happen. Best way to reach me, generically, it's stevespiro.com. Best, LinkedIn is always great. You can find me on LinkedIn. You'll see, if you type in Steve Spiro, you're going to get Master Connector. It's going to be the first. I guess I've done a good job with search engine optimization. But from a speaker's perspective, I spoke a lot about that, which I'm looking to get on stages I'd love for you to reach out to me, and you can go to Spiro-Global.com. You can see me as a speaker there. But either way, find me. By the way, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you're going to get a message saying let's get on a call, because everyone that connects with me, I suggest we get on a call. So be ready for that. But anyway, I look forward to connecting with you. And Scott, Russ, I really appreciate you guys. It's been a blessing having you in my life. And yeah, sorry we missed each other and when you were in New York. Russ, hopefully soon we'll do that again. But I'm excited for 2025. I'm excited to have you guys here, and let's go make a difference. Let's be a blessing. Let's be that beacon of light for the world as you guys are today. And I just appreciate you both.
Great words, Steve.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Next time we're definitely making it happen. I appreciate you so much. And I am blessed to be a sponsor on the Master Connector show, as you are on Marketing with Russ. Appreciate that. And you are such a blessing to me, Steve. I am going to be reaching out right after the first of the year. We'll talk some more. And thank you for being here today. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you again.
Yes. Well, I tell you.
Great information and great inspiration.
Yes. My goodness. He is inspiring. And, as I go into the new year, I really think about people, Scott, that really have something I want to learn more about. He's one of those individuals that, this new year here in 2025, I want to reach out and talk a little bit more with Steve, because there's so much value there. And I just really appreciate him and all that he's doing. So
and be others focused. Get a mentor who's going to work with you personally, who knows who you are. And as he says, Grant Cardone, maybe great teacher, great information, helpful information, not your coach, not your mentor. He's a teacher. He's a teacher. And you're learning great stuff, but get that mentor to help you apply that. Or maybe it's not the right direction. I will tell you, Russ, you came to me with a decision one time, and I am so grateful that you went the way you did, because you hired Ever. And for folks who know, Ever is in the background. She does all the graphics. She does so much posting. She does a lot of commenting. She does a lot of the connecting work for us. And
she does the hard work.
I'm so grateful for her. And that was a decision. That was a pivot point moment. And it has changed your life, changed my life. Yeah.
Well, and it's really, I owe you and my other mentor, who I went directly to talk to about it, because it was such an important decision which way I was going, and that made a huge difference. So thankful. She is such a blessing. She's like a sister to me. Love her and her family, and just so thankful. So, all right. Well, listen, I want to remind everybody, local.theexperience.video for more information on Scott and I. You can also go to dscottsmith.com or russhedge.com, which is ticking along the bottom. Also, if you want to go directly to our YouTube page, go to theexperience.video and subscribe today. We would love for you to do that. We are just so blessed to have so many of you that support us, both through sponsorships and through just individual listener supported donations. So we appreciate that. Just want to remind you that not only are we sponsor supported, there you go. And let's take off this ticking banner. There you go. The Gillette Home Team, Independent Planner, and Jim Coleman State Farm. But also, we would love for you to be part of our listener-supported team. And I could actually get that up there if I could actually click the right button. There you go. Listener-supported. There you go. Use a QR code, or you could just click the link in the comments or the show notes. We would love for you to do that. And we're so thankful in this new year for all of you. Scott, I can't even begin to say how thankful I am for you. And I am just ready for the new year.
You're a great blessing. And I just look forward to continuing this journey with you into another year. Now that we're in our fourth year of the experience live with Russ and Scott. So many great guests, so many more to come. There's 8 billion people on the planet. We've only done a few hundred shows, so we got to keep at it, Russ.
We're going to keep at it. And listen, until we see you all again, which is next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time, enjoy your life and enjoy
the experience.
Woo-hoo!
Thanks for tuning in to the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.